Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Sarayum. Now I am going to explain about Dbms subject in JNTUH R22 regulation second year second semester. This is a course of database structure and data system applications, a historical perspective. In early days, data is stored in flat files, big files, often requiring custom programs to access and manipulate. In olden days, this process got many problems like redundancy, accessing in single person and many person causes some issues, inconsistency in storage, difficulty in managing large data sets. Evolution in 1960s to 1970s, it is represented in hierarchical model and network model. Hierarchical means flowchart model, step by step process, network model, and in 1980s it is used as relational model. This is invented by E.F. Cod scientist, became dominant. In 2000 onwards, object relational like OOPS concept and Python. It is used in Java and database, NoSQL, SQL and distributed databases. Applications we use in today: banking for transactions, e-commerce website like Amazon website, for healthcare data storage purpose, social media like YouTube, Instagram, cloud services, and all other applications on database management system for reliable and scalable data management. It is useful in many applications. File systems versus a database management system. File system, it stores the data as individual files, single files. Access required custom code for accessing the code. It caused some problems like redundancy, accessing for one person and many person. Lack of security, it needs more security. Poor concurrency control, for controlling the concurrency is nothing but number of people are using at a time. It causes concurrency control, poor concurrency control. For overcoming these disadvantages and problems, introduce database management system. This is the process of storing the data and accessing the data with some concepts. It provides structural storage with queries. Queries is nothing but questions. Language like SQL, SQL, sequential language. Ensures data integrity, security, concurrency, recovery. These are the advantages. File system has some problems. To overcome these problems, scientists introduced database management system process. Key differences between file system and database management system. File systems are passive storage, less storage. Dbms are more storage and actively manages the data with some rules, protocols, constraints. And for optimization also. Database management system is used nowadays to overcome the problems of file system. Introduced database management systems. The data models, another topic. Data models. First we need to know what is data model definition. It is a framework and representation of data with models is known as data model. It has some types: hierarchical model like tree like structure. Making like tree like structure is called hierarchical model. Network model like a graph connections from one to another. Database engine. It is a component of managing the data and accessing the data. Catalog and metadata manager. Metadata is like a tool of storing and retrieving the data with some definitions and constraints, rules. User interfaces allows interactions between people, user and client. SQL, sequential language, graphical user interfaces, and APIs like a set of rules and protocols for software applications. Like APIs means application programming interface. These are the concepts we use in database management system. Data models, these are the data models. Components of DBMS, this is the diagram of DBMS structure. Application programs, first there are three concepts: programmers, users, and database administrator, DBA. In programmers, application programs are connected to database. In users, queries, questioning are connected to database. In database administrator, database schema is connected to database management system. Data manipulation language, preprocessor will be connected to query processor in queries according to users, and it is connected to dictionary manager. DDL, data definition language compiler, is connected to dictionary manager. This is connected to database manager. This will manage the data for storing in database. Program object code also given to the database manager to store the data in database. Is connected to file manager to manage the dictionary manager, and this is given to access methods. For some methods we are accessing is connected to system buffer, and finally it is connected to database. This is the system catalog. Database is the process of storing the data in servers is called database. Sets, another concept in ER model. ER means entity relationship modeling. A set refers to a collection of similar objects is known as sets. In sets there are two concepts: entity set and attribute set. In entity set, a group of entities are present with same type or different type. All students in a university from the student entity set is known as group of entities. Group of entities. These group of entities with same type is known as entity set with some attributes. Attributes are nothing but properties. Collection of properties describing an entity is known as attribute set. These are the two concepts included in sets. Another topic is relationships and relationship sets. Relationship, it is an association or group between two or more entities, is called relationship. Example, a student enrolls in a course. Like Ram is a student, enroll in CSE department. Rani is a student, enrolls in EEE department, like that. This is the example of relationship. It tells about relation. The group of sets of relationship is known as relationship sets. Types, there are three types: one-to-one relationship, one-to-many relationship, many-to-one relationship. In one-to-one relationship, an employee works in a department. An employee works in a department as head or any other role. Single person to a single set is known as one-one relationship. One-to-many, here one member will be in relation with many, is known as one-to-many. Like in a department there are many employees for different categories. One-to-many relationship. Many-to-many, many students are there in a college with many branches like CSE department, ECE, EEE, mining, mechanical. This is the example of many-to-many. These are the three types in relationship sets. Another topic is additional features of the ER model. Here there are three concepts in additional features of ER model, entity relationship model. First concept is weak entities. These are the entities depend on other entity, is known as weak entities. For identification. Aggregation, this is the process of treating a relationship as an entity. For the higher level modeling is known as aggregation. Another concept is specialization and generalization. Generalization is a concept of combining similar entities with higher level entity, and in that higher level entity, the dividing an entity into sub entities. This is the higher level entity is divided into sub entities is known as specialization concept from generalization concept. Constraints are the cardinality like 1 to 1, 1 to n, m to n. These are the three examples of cardinality. If they are partially included or totally included. Constraint set of rules. Another concept is ER model. Entity relationship model or ER model. They will ask as entity relationship model or ER model. Then you need to write this answer. First you need to know what is an entity. It is a real world object. Any object is known as entity in the world, or concept stored in the database is known as entity. Like student is an object, course is an object, employee is an object, pen is an object, pencil is an object. Like that you need to write an example for each sub concept. Another concept is attribute. Attribute is a property of an entity. It describes about the entity is known as attribute. Properties that describe an entity is known as attribute. Another concept is relationship. It describes the relation between entity and attribute is known as relationship. Association between two entities. These are two entities, and a relationship is denoted by rhombus shape. It describes relation between two entities is known as relationship. Attribute example is student ID. Student has an ID, student has an name, student has an email ID, and student has an sub properties are known as attribute. Name, email, salary of an employee, like that. Address of an employee, email of an employee. These are examples of attribute. ERD is known as ER diagram, entity relationship diagram, the graphical representation of the model. There are three diagrams including concepts. Rectangle represents the entity, rectangle, and oval represent the attribute, property of an entity. Relationship is denoted as diamond shape. It explains the relationship between two entities. This is an entity, this is another entity. Rhombus is an relationship. Explain about two entities. Vowel is a property of an entity. This is an example. Student studies in college. Student has course, hall ticket number, student ID, student name. These are the properties or attributes of an student set or entity. Studies is a property, or it explains or it depends on college. College has an address, college has faculty, college has ID, college has name. These are the attributes or properties of an entity set. This is an example of ER model. This is an important concept. Another concept is data model. This is the model explains about how data is stored and organized in a database. It is a framework that defines how data is stored or organized and manipulated inside a database. It provides structure, constraint, operations. Structure is nothing but a representation of tables, graphs, trees. Constraints are rules for data integrity, data storing purpose. Operations, how data can be accessed and updated. These are the options. Operations are used in data model. This is acts as blueprint for designing a database. Another concept is levels of abstraction in database management system. Database management system hides complexity by providing three levels of abstraction. It includes three levels. First level is physical level, top level. Middle level is logical level, and another level, last level is View level. Physical level. This level explains how data is actually stored in files, indexes, storage blocks. Another level, middle level, is logical level, which describes data is stored in relationships like in tables or structured schemas. Last level, bottom level, is view level, how users see data, customized views or queries. This is layered approach. Data model is a layered approach. First level after second level after third level. These are the three levels. This is a layered approach that makes database easier to use and manage. Another concept is data independence. This is the process of ability to change the schema. Schema is nothing but structure. Structure of one level without affecting the next level. First level without affecting the second level. Second level without affecting the third level. This is the process of data independence. This concept has two types: physical data independence and logical data independence. Physical data independence is the process of changes in storage, like new index adding, like that. Does not affect logical schema. It does not affect the next schema or next level. Logical data independence. This is a process of changing logical schema without affecting the physical schema. Physical data independence does not affect the user's views. Structure of database management system. This is another concept. This is the process of organizing the data in several components with a structure. The structure is like a query processor. This concept with the execution of queries, user queries. Another is storage manager. This is the process of handling the data which are retrieving and indexing, accessing the data. Storage manager will manage the storage purpose. Transaction manager, it includes asset properties. ACID, asset properties. These are the four properties: atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability. These are the four concepts are included in transaction manager. They will ask as long question, asset properties, explain about asset properties in details. Then you need to know what is asset properties types, and you need to know what are these concepts. Atomicity must complete entirely process, must complete total process, and it should not be incomplete, is known as atomicity. First type. And another property is consistency. It should be valid from one state to another state, first state to second state to third state. This is the property is known as consistency. Isolation is the process of concurrency transaction, does not interference, should not be occurred at a time, is known as isolation. Last concept is durability. Changes are permanent. Changing or modifying the changes are permanent, is known as durability. Last concept is conceptual design. Definition: this is the process of designing higher level design of a database using ER models or ER diagrams before implementation. There are 4 steps included in conceptual design. First, you need to identify entities and attributes. What are entities? Entities represent with a rectangle and attributes with oval shape, relations with diamond shape. First, you need to know what are entities and what are attributes are included in this process. You need to understand first. Then after second step, you need to define the relationship. Which entity is relating with which entity? You need to know. And constant rules. You need to know rules. Then third step is you to draw ER diagram. Entity relationship diagram with a rectangle, diamond shape and entity oval shape. Then fourth step is to refine using additional features. If there is a weak entity or generalization concept are included or aggregation concept are included, you need to know. This is the purpose of providing clear information and abstract view of database structure and independent of physical storage. These are the concepts of database management system first unit. Thank you for watching. Please do like for this video and share to your friends and subscribe to my YouTube channel and press bell icon